Rugby League is back.
Drum roll, please.
You're a true Warriors fan.
I have no recollection of that hot take.
We don't all have to agree.
It's good to be back.
It's just a really boring team.
Oh, partner.
Start winning some games.
I think there'll be a lot of changes to the team.
I've got them making the 8 for mine.
Let's go. Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Advantage Line, TAB's Rugby League betting podcast. My name is Cal Tiley, joined by my good mate, Paul Mawate. Paul, how was your week, pal?
Yeah, not too bad. I really enjoyed the All-Star weekend. A couple of very, very good games. But outside of that, just getting more and more hungry for the start of the season proper.
I should apologise, Paul. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at Teddy. He almost simultaneously combusted as we started talking there. Nick Tedeschi, welcome in.
You'd think in the 17 minutes late this podcast was recorded, I wouldn't be able to get a cough out, but I've saved it for 25 seconds in, so that one's on me.
Oh, geez, dirty laundry.
It's not an Advantage Line without some technical difficulties or tardiness. But look, we're here now, and we'll just rip straight in, eh? This week, we're going to look at teams 5 to 8 on the ladder. But before we get there, I've got a couple of questions to throw out to the boys. A few preseason blowouts last week, fellas. Sharks won 40-10 over the Raiders. Eels 44-18. Dolphins 50 on the Cowboys. The Wires put 36 on the Storm. Broncos put 50 on the Titans. Do we take much out of these results, Teddy? Does preseason actually matter?
Well, it really depends on how many actual first graders are playing in those matches. So there'll be teams like the Storm that'll mean absolutely nothing. Like, just putting them in. The team I'll be worried about the most is if on the Gold Coast, I would be very worried. They were playing more first graders than the Broncos last week. They had a stronger team. They jumped 3.5-point favourites. But they were playing. They got 50 put on by the Broncos reserve grade side. I would be incredibly worried if I was the Titans. So. And considering that awful start they got off to last year, which kind of pretty much cost them any chance of finals, that they lost their first 7 games till they knocked the Wales and Anzac Day, all close to. What stating facts? Don't state facts. I know that's off brand for me, but I'd be worried if I was the Titans, and by the same token, I'd be pretty happy if I was the Dolphins, who had a mix of first graders in there. But were very, very impressive, and I think kind of have a good steady base to kind of build on this year.
Paul, where do you sit on preseason results like this?
I don't weigh them heavily, factoring in what goes on during the normal season. I was pleased with the way that the Warriors went. Interesting to see they had a few different combinations, and it'll be interesting to see which team actually lines up in round one against the Raiders, but they really, really did look good in that first stanza when they put 20 or 30 odd on the Storm. I know it wasn't the Storm's top team, but you still got to do the business. RTS looked very, very good, but along with a few others as well. But yes,
are you not a little concerned that the coach doesn't seem to have a lot of idea to what he's going to do with Tuapiki, Tuavasa, Sheck, Nickel Clocks? Like, to me, they played great. I thought RTS played great. Tuapiki, you've got to find a spot for him. Absolutely no risk at all. There's a fair bit of mixed messaging coming out. All early in the preseason was Rogers playing fullback, Rogers playing fullback, Rogers playing fullback. All we're hearing now is Rogers not playing fullback, Rogers not playing fullback. No, we don't know what we're doing with Charm. I played Tamara Martin back at fullback. It was a very, very strange choice, I thought, considering the number of fullbacks that were in the team on Saturday.
He didn't look bad at the back.
I don't disagree with that at all. But just it seems very odd that you would play your first choice 5'8" there.
Maybe it's not first choice.
Mm.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's very, very strange to be throwing this up 2 weeks out from the season.
There's a lot of questions, I suppose. Hopefully Webby knows what he's doing, and he's just sort of.
Well, maybe. I don't know. It seems panic stations for me because you've got a bucket load of fullbacks, and no real halves. So it seems odd to be playing Tamari Martin there. I'm sure. My assumption is he was just holding the position for chance, and I want to see Roger and Tuapiki play where they're probably going to play for the season. If that was the case, well, so be it. But I thought it was odd.
I'm not so sure that is the case.
You think there's a chance Tamari Martin plays fullback from round one?
I think there's a very, very good chance that Tamari plays fullback.
Wow, wait.
I'll be downgrading the Warriors from my previous. And no knock on Tamari. I think Tamari's a very good player. I just think this whole weirdness about position. This has a whole stink of we're moving Kalen Ponga to 5'8". We're moving Mark Gasnier to 5'8". There's a whole lot of stink about trying to manufacture some stuff, and I don't like when that happens because you know what inevitably happens? 6 weeks later, AJ Brimps is a centre. 6 weeks later, you're back to square one, putting people back to where they should have been at the start of the year. So I don't know. I find that concerning.
There is that, I guess, danger that you can sort of knock the confidence of the player that you thought originally would be taking the number 1 jersey or the number 6 jersey, and then throwing them back in after 5 or 6 weeks because the plan that you went with didn't quite work. But yeah, look, in Webby we trust.
When we trusted a year ago, well, we have for last year. Let's see. I think we're a bit in. I'm not willing to not trust him, but I'm also like not willing to be just like blind trusting him either. He's in that Serraldo thing of just like you've done some things right, you've done some things wrong. Now year 3, let's just
honeymoon's over, Teddy.
Well, for both of them, we'll discuss one of them later on.
Has he got dark for you?
He's made some good decisions. Like each have one really good year and one really ordinary year. And now we're kind of at a time where we're just like, all right, you got the runs on the board, you got the experience there. Now it's time to make all the right decisions.
We will see. I think I'm having some internet issues here, boys. Just FYI. Let's move on. Best thing you saw in rugby league this week? I saw a number of great things in rugby league this week. I'll throw it to you guys first. Teddy?
Best thing I saw in rugby league this week, well, I find it very hard to go past Peter V'landys's video of calling for Donald Trump to come to the game in Vegas. That was absolutely a personal highlight for me.
But for mine, it was the intensity shown by both of the All-Star games this early in the season. I thought it was really, really good, especially the men's game. I really thought they put some huge hits in there. Still a couple of weeks out from the start of the season proper. And, if that's an indication of what the season's going to be like, we're in for another boomer.
The other highlight for me was the way the Super League season kicked off with a 1-0 game. There's been one 1-0 game in Australian Premiership history. The last time a game started 1-0 was the Dragons and Parramatta about 20 years ago. And that was about 25 years before the last one before that. So incredible way to start the season for the Leigh Leopards.
And it was 0-0 at the end of 80. It was sensational.
Incredible. And Carl's given up on us.
He's gone. He's back.
He's back, baby.
What a debacle.
There we go.
You hear me all right?
There. Yeah.
Right, where did I drop out? What did I miss? What was the best thing in rugby league we saw, fellas?
Well, I'll give you a quick summary. Peter V'landys call for Donald Trump, the intensity of the All-Star games, and 1-0 to kick off the Super League season.
I'll go one better.
With Michael Buffer there announcing the like the old WCW days.
I'll go one better, and it's something I sent you, Teddy. Alex Glenn making his professional wrestling debut with Daniel Vito at the Caxton, coming off the top ropes, winning the match. It was something special to watch.
Now, was that a better wrestling debut than James Graham's wrestling debut?
Can't say I watched James Graham's wrestling debut.
Our colleague here at Entain, James Graham, former Bulldog great.
Yep.
Yes.
Was very good in his wrestling debut. I would love to see those two square off.
Tell you what, Daniel Vito has got a rig on him. Looks like he could suit up tomorrow.
You love talking about rigs.
Love talking about Daniel Vito as well.
I wonder if he features in the grid this week.
Could not find a spot for him this week.
Okay.
Fortunately. All right. should we move on and start looking at some teams?
Sure.
We will start with the Newcastle Knights 2024 review, 2025 preview. As we have been doing, let's kickstart it. Describe the Knights 2024 season in 5 words or less, or if you're Paul Mawate, in a song. I'm actually playing this week too, fellas.
Wait.
Sorry.
I'll go first, eh?
Yeah.
Don't remember a single game.
The Great Pretenders.
Oh, Teddy, this is crazy. My song, The Platters, The Great Pretender.
No way. That is, say, for listeners, Paul and I don't really get on that well off air, so we don't talk at all. So there was no collusion on that one. Oh, wow.
Give us 2024 season
The
for the Knights, Teddy. What happened?
The Knights have won more than 12 games just once in the last 15 seasons. Just once.
Wow.
But they've played finals football in 4 of the last 5 years. That's incredible. They are absolutely should have played finals football maybe one of those seasons. They are not a good team who, once again, flew into the finals in the back of some good Caleb Palmer form. I don't like anything about Knights. And the thing I hated the most was the chopping and changing of the halves. The 4 and 5 halves that were changing every second or third week. Continuity is such an important part of building a successful team. And Adam O'Brien obviously has no idea what to do with that. Then just about Phoenix crossed them in the halves in the end, which kind of altered the hooking situation as well. I thought it was a very ordinary season. I thought the numbers reflected some of that. They went 6-3 in close games. They overshot their real win number by nearly a full win. I didn't like anything about what I saw for the Knights last year, other than Callum Palmer and a few players come through. Particularly Dylan Lucas, I think, deserves a big shout. Bowen Best lifted at periods when he was fit, but I don't know how this team made the finals. They absolutely were not one of the 8 best teams last year. They're absolutely not one of the 8 best teams this year. And I have no idea how Adam O'Brien is still in charge. Must have something to do with 4 finals in 5 years because they don't deserve it.
Strong words, Miney. What do you reckon?
So, we really are on the same page here, Teddy, when it comes to
this is troubling.
The Newcastle Knights. I couldn't agree more. And I really don't like their chances this season coming up either. If you have a look at the spine, outside of Ponga, boy, that halves combination I think is really, really going to struggle. And yeah,
which halves combination?
Well,
they're throwing Fletcher Sharp into except by my reckoning, they've got 7 potential halves this year, and I have a funny feeling we're going to see every combination from O'Brien.
It'll be a revolving door halves pairing. 100%, we will see almost every single combination they can put together, I'm sure, and I don't think it's going to end well. I still cannot work out how they made the 8.
Look,
completely.
Look.
No, they go on, Carl.
I was say looking at the team this week for their trial against the Roosters, looks like they're running out their best 17, and we've got Fletcher Sharp and Tyson Gamble on the halves.
Yeah, Fletcher Sharp might be good, or his defence last week was borderline embarrassing in the front line. So, your kid could get better. Obviously, had some upside. Obviously, they're short on wingers, so I have no idea why we would be playing on a wing to get going. I have no idea what they're doing with this side. They've got a bad roster that's gotten worse. They've lost Daniel Saifidi, among others, but he's the main one. They're only added in James Schiller. People don't really want to go to Newcastle at the moment. I don't see where they're going. For mine, they were like a 10-11 win team and they're getting worse this year. I thought they were extremely poor in the open market this year. I'm backing them to finish in the bottom 4. I haven't got them. I think I've got them 12th, but I think I'm backing them at a price to finish in the bottom 4. I think they're a very, very bad side.
They do have an easy draw, though. Easy draw.
Let's have a look at that draw. I think you might be right on that front. Stand by call.
They bottom 9 teams last year 15 times.
Yeah, last year they had an easy draw. Yeah, they've got they do have an easy draw again, but I don't know if it's going to be enough for them.
No. Could we see Adam O'Brien out this year, especially if they start slow?
Well, yes, but I've kind of said that probably two of the last three. Like, they seem reluctant to, for two reasons. They seem reluctant to sack the coach mid-season. Well, three reasons. Reluctant to sack coach mid-season. They don't want to pay a coach. Well, they're two coaches at once. And I actually think they genuinely believe they've got a good coach, which is wrong. Like, they're in that period of mediocrity where they're just like, oh, well, he's good enough. He's taken us to the finals for the last 5 years, but they need to go and hire Justin Holbrook, something like that, and just move on. Get a guy with an idea.
All right. 2025 in 5 words or less.
Night.
Nice.
We're not too far away again, Teddy. My song is Alice in Chains, Over Now.
And I've just said, don't excite me a single bit. Alrighty, next team, the Manly Seagulls. 2024 in 5 words or less, please.
High ceiling, low floor.
Oh, my goodness. My song is by the Venga Boys, Up and Down.
Wow, we are. I'm going to go see a psychologist this afternoon, and I'm very concerned that we're on the same wavelength.
And I've just said Tommy T stayed healthy. I think we talked about it last year and talk about it most years. Tommy T is the key to the Seagulls' success, and I went and had a look at his last few years. 2020 played 7 games. I think they snuck into the 8 there, but 2021 he played 18. They made top 4. 22-23 played 7 and 11 games, and they missed the 8 both seasons. Shout out Trent Barrett. Then last year,
I tip that wasn't just Turbo's fault.
No, I know. But then last year he played 20 games, I think, and they made the 8. So
he missed 6 regular season games. So yeah, played 18 games and 2 finals.
Very much depends on him.
Yep. Totally agree. I'll get in with my 5 words early for 2025, but on Turbo swings the season, so I'm fully with you on that front. They had a reasonably good run with injuries last year, Manly. Wasn't just him, like they lost Croker 10 games, Saab 7 games, Turbo 6, Cool, Olakwatu, Greeny, Turbo 5, but kind of got through the season relatively healthy, and that helped them overcome a completely inept coach, as well as the emergence of some young players like Lee Harpawadi. I don't think anyone thought Tommy Talau would be as good as he was last year. For mine, they beat Melbourne, fair and square. They beat Penrith, fair and square. They played good teams really well. And then they'd play the shit teams, and they would play down to that level. And that was where their big problem was. They were losing games to the Dragons, losing games to Para. They were poor at times. So really hard to assess as to where they were and where they go. I kind of think they were probably about the right mark. They were 13.5 wins last year. I think that was probably about right. I see a bit more upside in them this year. And I'm not really sure why. The numbers don't really bear it out. They don't really suggest they're going for a fall. They've kind of got them very similar. But they have an easy draw. This is their second year under Seabold. So you'd think there could be some improvement in terms of just knowing his style and understanding the kind of football he wants to play. And I'm essentially backing Turbo to be healthy. But with their backline, their starting backline, either Tommy Talau, Tolu Kola, or Leo Alpawadi is not going to be in first grade. That's a fair backline to have. I have some concerns over the pack. Olakawatu is, without question, one of the best edge back rowers in the game for mine. But boy, oh boy, there's not much around him. Hooker's a worry. I heard a little whisper that Jazz Tamunga might be starting hooker. Would be a great decision if that was the case. He should get first crack anyway because Lachlan Croker will miss the first month of the season, I think. But you look around the middles, Jake Trebojevic is such a plotter these days. Like, yeah, he works hard, but he's a one-pace plotter. He is like a glorified Aidan Tolman. Nathan Brown, Taniela Paseka, like they're not great players. Josh Alloway, Tukiaho, Ben George, like they're going to need to find something in their pack. They're going to need a young player to come through. They're going to need to find something if they're going to do it. But I've got them coming fourth, like in a pretty bunched group for that fourth spot, a fair way off third. But yeah, my hopes are mainly pretty high. But if Turbo goes down round one, you can downgrade that. I'll miss the 8 and possibly finish bottom 4.
What about you, Paul?
Holy moly, we are so similar here. I agree. For Manly supporters, the Sea Eagles must have been a very, very frustrating team to follow last season because, as Teddy says, they beat the big boys. They beat the Storm. They beat the Panthers. And then they would lose to teams nowhere near the 8. So they were sort of like a boat that would rise with the tide and play up to the level of the Storm and the Panthers and then drop down as the tide went out and play to the level of the Dragons. It was very, very frustrating, but I do see an upside for them here. I agree with Teddy. The pack needs to step up, and if they do, that back line just looks ridiculously good. They've got speed, power right throughout. I think Brooks is a very, very important player in there. I thought he went okay last season.
He disappointed me last season. I thought he was poor when he had a chance to be really good.
I thought he was inconsistent, but I think he showed in a number of games what he can do in an A1 backline. So I'm hoping that we see some improvement from him, and I think that makes them very, very dangerous. And like Teddy said, I've got them very, very close to the top four, but one wrong result and they can drop down 2 or 3 spots because I do see that being quite cramped in that sort of 7, 6, 5, 4, 3 sort of. There's not too much between those teams, I don't think.
I think where they're at, I completely agree. They could miss the 8 if things go wrong. But I would say that I think they're the only team outside of Melbourne or Penrith who can win the comp.
Wow.
And I say that because in an 80-minute performance, I think they've got the upside to be able to beat a team. And they showed it last year. Now, are they going to be consistent enough to put themselves in the right position to do that? I don't know. But I think any punter out there, about the $17 mark, I reckon that if you're going to have a ticket on a roughie this year, they're the one to have.
Oh, hey. All right. Give us your 5 words or less. You gave us yours before, Teddy.
I gave you yours, but on Turbo, swings the season.
Paul?
I'm going with D. Ream. Things can only get better.
Okay. And I have said, is Turbo due for a spell? Just going off the in one season, out the next. Just.
It's hard to know what they're going to do because I know that Silver wants to protect him and play him in the centres, and Turbo's having none of it. Yeah. But I just hope he's not sprinting down the course causing any dramas. He's fragile enough on the field. Let's not race off it.
All right, let's do the grid. If you're playing along at home, go find the grid for Tuesday, 18th of February. Pause the pod. Get your points, come back and compare. Across the top this week, kicked a field goal, has played for the Roosters, has played for the New Zealand Kiwis. Down the left, played for the Sharks, played in 2010 and has played for the Storm. Teddy, give us your top row, please.
Kicked a field goal, played for the Sharks. His son now plays for the Wars. Mitch Healy, Wizard, 0.57.
Oh, jeez. Crikey.
Oh, it's only getting worse for you, Paul. I'll tell you that right now. Roosters, Sharks, one of my favourite all-time props, Danny Nutley, 3.13. And played for the Kiwis, played for the Sharks, one of my least favourite referees of all time, Henry the Octopus Perinara, Wizards, 2.15.
Oh, you are kidding. What?
How is he Wow, when you hear mine, I thought I hit it on the head, but
I know where I'm finishing today.
you want to go, Paul?
Me?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll go. Paul Gallen, 6.17.
Only played 500 games, didn't he?
Well, that's why I picked him. I thought surely he kicked a field goal in one of those games.
Did he really? I've got no recollection of the Paul
Of all the players, Paul Gallen, why would you say he kicked a field goal?
Because he played so many games. I thought, he maybe like one of those final games. He just grabbed the ball and had a go sort of thing. I don't know. But he must have kicked at least one.
That's astonishing. I want to go back and find this Paul Gallen field goal now.
Andrew Lomu, Brain, 1.94. And Jeremy Smith, 8.80.
Oof.
He kicked a field goal in his last regular season game against the West Tigers to win 25-8.
Boom. There we go.
Wow. So game number 645.
Exactly. Out of 646.
I had one of my favourite players, Todd Carney, 2.52. Roosters Sharks, Tini Rao Arona, 1.98. And I feel like I got hard done by here because this person only played one test for the Kiwis. Luke Cavell, 4.87.
Did play a lot for the Sharks.
Huh?
Did play a lot for the Sharks.
No. Next one, Ted. Next row.
Kicked a field goal, played in 2010. Tim Smith, 0.42. Eels Sharks halfback.
What?
Rooster played in 2010. Ben Jones, Wizard, 0.20.
Oh, you are kidding.
And played in 2010, played for the Kiwis, Jason Nightingale, 2.62.
Jamie Soward, 1.48.
Can't believe that wasn't 10.48.
Yeah.
Sandor Earl, 0.65. Matthew Duffy, Wizard, 0.49.
Great.
Matthew Duffy, I believe he was a reserve grade rugby league player who went and played 100 tests for the All Blacks, wasn't he?
Teddy's man, Matt.
You're Joseph Tamane.
Kicked a field goal, played 2010. Krishnan Inu, Brain, 0.80. Roosters 2010, Jamie Soward 1.9. Kiwis played in 2010, Steve Matai 2.04.
Oh, Steve Matai. Good result there.
Bring it home, Teddy.
Field goal, Storm found is very difficult. Matt Orford 4.59. Rooster Storm player James Orbison, Brain 1.49.
Oh, man.
And Storm played for the Kiwis, Richard Swain 2.08.
Gareth Widdop, 5.09. Michael Crocker, 5.89. Henry Perenara, Brain, 1.09.
I also had Matt Orford, 4.59. Jaden Nikarima, Wizard, 0.58.
Very good.
And David Kidwell, 3.15.
I did a list a few years ago of ranking every player. I don't know what I did, BetSeeker. I'm listing every player from 1 to 480 or whatever. And Jaden Nikarima ran last. So.
Fun fact.
How good.
Fun fact.
All right, give us the totals.
17.2.
Jeez. You must have been.
I was third when I did it.
Wow.
31.6.
31.6.
22.4.
Very good, Carl.
Thank you. Not so much you, Paul.
Yeah.
No, nothing outside of 30 gets a good score. Gets a congratulations. Gets a that a boy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Doggies. 2024 season in 5 words or less, please, Teddy.
Didn't use 5 words or less. Actually quoted the Great Gatsby here. I felt it deserved more. The exhilarating ripple in her voice was a tonic in the rain. It was a beautiful season last year from the Bulldogs.
Oh, God.
Thoroughly enjoyable. And I thought only F. Scott Fitzgerald could do it justice.
There's no way you're on the same. There's no way you're on the same page.
Not unless Jennifer Warnes and Joe Cocker are the musical, I guess, embodiment of F. Scott Fitzgerald, Up Where We Belong.
Success comes to those who wait.
The Tigers beg to differ, but
Shout out, mate.
shout out, Blake. Yeah, it was. As obviously, the Bulldogs tragic, it was a fantastic year last year after 7 years in the doldrums with some absolutely inexplicable decisions at coaching, some of the worst rosters you've ever seen, bottom four finishes regularly, wooden spoons. It was fantastic to see it all put together. A little surprising, I'll admit, after Cameron Serrata's first year, wasn't willing to write him off last year, but I thought, that's not that recruitment was not good. I'm not 100% sure, but him and Gould had a plan, and they just wanted to wipe out anyone with any remnant of any ties to the club. He was just having none of. There was going to be none of the old ways. It was just like, let's get a whole new bunch of people. And I'd say that generally worked. Now, Serrata pulled a lot of the wrong reins early on. He was playing Blake Taffet fullback over Tracy, Drew Hutchison halfback over Toby Sexton. Jamin Salmon, unfortunately, was one he never got right, but he was pulling the right reins. In fairness to him, he kind of was reasonably quick to change his bad decision making and get it right. So they were very good last year for a team that was on the up. They probably didn't beat a lot of teams that they didn't deserve to, but they probably kept beating teams they should have. If you know what I mean. So their only real issue last year was the stumble in the last few weeks when they got hammered by the Cowboys, beat by Manly, and then beaten by Manly in the finals again on the back of a Jamin Salmon missed tackle, which led to a try at the end. So thanks, Jamin.
Not holding on to anything.
Oh no, it's full of scapegoats at Canterbury, and Jamin Salmon number one enemy at the Bulldogs. He's not quite at Sonny Bill Williams, Joe McCracken level yet, but he's getting very bloody close to the way he performed last year. Hopefully with the acquisition of a few, including Satilia Tupanua, we've seen the last of him, but that's to be seen. There was a fragility about the Bulldogs, though, that has me a little concerned heading into this year. Those sharp jumps tend not to bode that well. You tend to kind of regress a little bit the following season. They were the luckiest health team as well, or the second luckiest health team. Luckiest in the spine, so that was a concern. They're not going to get that good a run with injuries again. You wouldn't have thought. Didn't make a big splashy run in the market this off-season. They picked up a lot of fringe players. Tupanoa, Marcelo Montoya, Nari Tuala, Tom Amone. Lost Josh Adokar, but big name, but they were pretty happy to let him go. If they didn't want to let him go, I think they could have worked that through. They didn't let him go. So, Gerald Skelton, Katione, Kotoga, and Huasa Farmasuli. Tough to assess where they're headed this year. I kind of think they're probably more. This might be a bit of a treading water season. They're signing Leo Thompson for next year. They're in the market for a quality half. I wouldn't be surprised if Lachlan Galvin is well and truly on the radar over the next little bit. So I feel this is more a year of, hey, let's just keep going, let's keep getting right, keep staying in the finals. Like a step backwards would be a big disappointment this year for the Bulldogs, but I'm not sure they've got the gears in them this year to take it to the next level.
A lot of Warriors 2023 comparisons, the Bulldogs last year.
I think we'll be a little bit more reliable than that, but
all right, we'll see.
We will see, but I think they've got more depth for starters. I think Canterbury's strength was a big weakness a couple of years ago. There's no depth. I don't think we've got a lot of huge upside players, but I think we've got a lot of players who can step into first grade and play first grade. And even that trial, when I didn't hear a lot from trial, I thought for a bunch of guys who were well and truly out of the first grade reckoning, there were some real good players come through. Like young Jack Todd, both the wingers look really good. So I think there's a bit going on at Canterbury at the moment. So Big year for Canterbury as well, 90-year anniversary. So, bit of excitement around the Dogs. I've got them in that 5th to 8th range. I just don't know if they've got the gears to go up to the next level. They could miss the 8 though. Like you are, they've been serious. Like you are, they could have that Warriors. If they're bad run with injuries, Burton goes down. Carraz was missing the start of the season. He's massive for them getting their sets going. Things could go wrong. Are you going to get the same level of play out of Marnie, Sexton, and Connor Tracy? Well, you'd hope so, but you wouldn't be backing on it based on their previous history.
Paul, anything else to add for the Dogs? I feel like Teddy covered it all.
No, yeah, they are his baby, so I think we can leave it with Teddy there. I do agree. I've got them in the 8 again, but it wouldn't take much for them to fall out. And as he said, injuries will be crucial for the Dogs, and we will probably see 1 or 2 injuries in that squad to a vital cog in their system. So outside of that, I still have them just sneaking in the 8.
5 words or less.
The Peter Principle. For those of you who don't know what the Peter Principle is, they've found their level. This is where they belong.
I've gone Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams.
And I have gone Prove It Wasn't a Fluke.
Blunt.
Cowboys, last team we're going to look at today. 5 words or less for 2024, Teddy.
It was hot up north.
Oh, gee. I went with Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush. Don't give up. And they didn't give up because they fell in a hole last season and they came home with a wet sail. So, yeah, that's me.
I said won the games that mattered. Where they were, I think you were pretty low on them last year, Teddy, from memory, at the start of the season.
Yep.
They finished 5th.
Pretty low.
Pretty low on them this year. Very low on them this year. I know you are. What do you make of last year?
Last year, maybe a buffed up version of the Knights. Like they overshot their true wins by 1.5 wins. They're not a 5th place team. They're a fringe 8 team. They got hot and they got a lot out of players that you really wouldn't expect. Like Kyle Feldt was playing reserve grade at the start of the year. He was as hot a winger as there was by the end of the season. They got a bit out of an aging Holmes. I've never seen Scott Drinkwater play better. Even Jake Clifford, when he comes up there, and based on his long history of being a terrible first grader, played pretty well at the back end of the year. Tom Lyle, I just don't like where things are headed at the Cowboys going forward. I actually hate where they're at. And I'll be backing them to the spoon. I'll be backing them to finish bottom 4. I think this is a team. This is a team that has all the signs that the backside could just completely fall out of it this year. Like
All depth.
It would not stun me at all if the players turned on Peyton, Peyton got sacked, and these guys would struggle to win a game, despite having some obvious talent there. Like they've got a very good pack led by Connor. Reece Robson leaving has got to be a distraction for them. Like they can't be happy about that. They've got John Bateman, who caused nothing but trouble at the Tigers in there. They've got a very, very ordinary backline, and it's not been helped by signing Jackson Paulo, who will probably be spending a lot of time with the Mackay Cutters, but if he gets anywhere near first grade, him or Semi Valame, first for the Cowboys. They let Kulikafu Fuiaki go, and now all of a sudden Heelan Luki's out for the year. They could have really used Fuiaki, so I think it was a very thin team. Tom Chester's also out for the year. I think this is an overrated team who don't like the coach, who are going to struggle with losing games, and are a massive chance. They're certainly not a 20-1 chance of running last.
Oh, you got them running last?
I've got them dropping down the table. I don't quite have them running last.
I don't have them running last FY. I just think they're value at the price to run last.
Right, I see what you're saying. Yep. No, then I agree with Teddy. Yeah, I think they got one out of the bag last season, and this season I think it's going to start crumbling and coming back at them. And I do think that they will be a very unhappy team by the time we get to midway through 2025. So, look, they are a chance of the spoon. I don't have them winning the spoon, but I don't have them in the 8. Let's just say that.
Let's put it on the record, does Peyton survive the season?
Oh.
No.
We.
And he shouldn't have survived last season. He would have been gone. He should have been gone a long time ago. He's not a good coach. Bad teams are way too reluctant to sack coaches. And if you're not the right fit, he should be moved on. And he's not the right fit. It's clear the players aren't particularly fond of him. His press conferences suggest he's a one-pace coach. He's a one-pace coach, so good luck in future endeavours, Todd.
Shout out, Todd. All right, 5 words or less.
Yeah, again, broke the rules, but hopefully Paul didn't take this one. But I've gone with the song title, Mama, Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys.
Oh, jeez. No, I can't top that. No, I'm afraid. I've gone with the Beatles, Get Back. And I think that's what the Cowboys are going to do. They're going to get back to where they should belong.
And I've just said, where do the points come from? That's 6 words, but it's my game.
It's an excellent question. It's an excellent question as well.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of points.
They have.
They don't have a halfback.
They don't have a halfback. They don't have a goal kicker. They lost their winger who scores all their tries.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I agree. They've got some good young kids coming through, like Jackson Purdue and Kyle Labbott, who might provide some kind of spark. But if they're going to start playing Semi Valemai and Jackson Paul, well, then they're no hope. And I get the feeling from Todd Payton that he's going to be playing Semi Valemai and Jackson Paul.
We will see soon. All right, before we wrap this up, let's have a quick look at the games this week. Give us a couple of bets you like, boys. We've got 7.
Let's go for you, Paul. I haven't had a huge look at the trials, but there were some good teams named. So you go, Paul, and all.
What have we got here? Look. I'm going the Dolphins to beat the Titans. Dolphins $1.70. That's
seems
my.
like so much value considering what they did last week.
Yeah,
I'm happy to jump on that. That's me.
I'll be back in Manly minus 15.5 against Penrith. Penrith have named an unrecognisable team as they prepare to go to Vegas. I think all other Vegas teams have a bye this weekend. So they've just been completely dudded on that one. And I give the Dogs a big chance against the Broncos. 255.
Yep.
They've named a pretty close to a full strength team. Or best available team. So I think Dogs are good at that.
I'll take the Dolphins head to head. Dolphins minus 1.5. And there's no alternate starts out. But
they're turns out the bookies have smartened up to our pre-season dodgy bets, looking at team changes and stuff like that. So they'll offer alternate lines when four starters go missing, and all of a sudden,
Dolphins 13 plus at 360 seems like value.
Dolphins have a very strong side.
Yeah,
and the Titans really haven't. They're pretty much named close to their best pack, more or tenors on the bench. But that Dolphins, that's a great bet.
All right, let's wrap it up there. I'm running internet off my phone. My phone's about to die. We've already had enough technical issues. Teddy, you said you had to be out of here by 10. I've done that for you. Might be one of the great hosts.
One of the great hosts, one of the great comebacks, because at 12 past 9, I thought we are absolutely zero.
Thank you for joining us, Teddy. As always, appreciate your wisdom. Paul, thank you for running the cutter in the studio without me there today, mate.
Doesn't sound like he appreciates your wisdom, though, Paul.
I appreciate your wittiness and your song titles.
That's it. We're
Back
done.
next week to look at the top 4 teams, and we should have a special bonus episode live from Vegas. Play us out, Paulie.